Imagine meeting a man who not only claimed to see God, but spoke to him as clearly as we speak to each other. What if that man looked at you and saw not just a person, but a divine mission, a purpose waiting to unfold? In today's episode of the biography of Swami Vivekananda, we dive into a pivotal moment that would change the course of history. The first meeting between Sri Ramakrishna and a young Narendranath, the future Swami Vivekananda. This meeting was more than just a simple encounter, it was the beginning of a spiritual revolution. Join us as we explore how this meeting ignited a profound transformation, not just for these two remarkable souls, but for the world at large. Shortly thereafter, the young men destined to be his monastic disciples began to arrive, and foremost among them was Narendranath. The first meeting at Dakshineshwar between the master and Narendra was momentous. Sri Ramakrishna recognized instantaneously his future messenger. Narendra, careless about his clothes and general appearance, was so unlike the other young men who had accompanied him to the temple. His eyes were impressive, partly indrawn, indicating a meditative mood. He sang a few songs and, as usual, poured into them his whole soul. His first song was this: "Let us go back once more, O mind, to our proper home. Here, in this foreign land of earth, why should we wander aimlessly in strangers' guise? These living beings round about and the five elements are strangers to you, all of them. None are your own. Why do you so forget yourself? In love with strangers, foolish mind, why do you so forget your own? Mount the path of truth, O mind. Unflaggingly climb, with love as the lamp to light your way. As your provision on the journey, take with you the virtues, hidden carefully. For, like two highwaymen, greed and delusion wait to rob you of your wealth, and keep beside you constantly as guards to shelter you from harm, calmness of mind and self-control. Companionship with holy men will be for you a welcome rest house by the road. There rest your weary limbs a while, asking your way, if ever you should be in doubt, of him who watches there. If anything along the path should cause you fear, then loudly shout the name of God, for he is ruler of that road, and even death must bow to him." When the singing was over, Sri Ramakrishna suddenly grasped Narendra's hand and took him into the northern porch. To Narendra's utter amazement, the master said with tears streaming down his cheeks, "Oh, you have come so late. How unkind of you to keep me waiting so long. My ears are almost seared listening to the cheap talk of worldly people. Oh, how I have been yearning to unburden my mind to one who will understand my thought." Then with folded hands he said, "Lord, I know you are the ancient sage Nara, the incarnation of Narayana, born on earth to remove the miseries of mankind." The rationalist Narain regarded these words as the meaningless jargon of an insane person. He was further dismayed when Sri Ramakrishna presently brought from his room some sweets and fed him with his own hands. But the master nevertheless extracted from him a promise to visit Dakshineshwar again. They returned to the room, and Narain asked the master, "Sir, have you seen God?" Without a moment's hesitation, the reply was given, "Yes, I have seen God. I see him as I see you here, only more clearly. God can be seen, one can talk to him, but who cares for God? People shed torrents of tears for their wives, children, wealth and property, but who weeps for the vision of God? If one cries sincerely for God, one can surely see him." Narendra was astounded. For the first time, he was face to face with a man who asserted that he had seen God. For the first time, in fact, he was hearing that God could be seen. He could feel that Ramakrishna's words were uttered from the depths of an inner experience. They could not be doubted. Still, he could not reconcile these words with Ramakrishna's strange conduct, which he had witnessed only a few minutes before. What puzzled Narendra further was Ramakrishna's normal behavior in the presence of others. The young man returned to Calcutta bewildered, but yet with a feeling of inner peace. During his second visit to the master, Narendra had an even stranger experience. After a minute or two, Sri Ramakrishna drew near him in an ecstatic mood, muttered some words, fixed his eyes on him, and placed his right foot on Naren's body. At this touch, Naren saw, with eyes open, the walls, the room, the temple garden, nay, the whole world, vanishing, and even himself disappearing into a void. He felt sure that he was facing death. He cried in consternation, "What are you doing to me? I have my parents, brothers and sisters at home." The master laughed and stroked Naren's chest, restoring him to his normal mood. He said, "All right, everything will happen in due time." Narendra, completely puzzled, felt that Ramakrishna had cast a hypnotic spell upon him. But how could that have been? Did he not pride himself in the possession of an iron will? He felt disgusted that he should have been unable to resist the influence of a madman. Nonetheless, he felt a great inner attraction for Sri Ramakrishna. On his third visit, Naren fared no better, though he tried his utmost to be on guard. Sri Ramakrishna took him to a neighboring garden and, in a state of trance, touched him. Completely overwhelmed, Naren lost consciousness. Sri Ramakrishna, referring later to this incident, said that after putting Naren into a state of unconsciousness, he had asked him many questions about his past, his mission in the world, and the duration of his present life. The answer had only confirmed what he himself had thought about these matters. Ramakrishna told his other disciples that Naren had attained perfection even before this birth, that he was an adept in meditation, and that the day Naren recognized his true self, he would give up the body by an act of will, through yoga. Often he was heard to say that Naren was one of the Saptashis, or 7 sages, who live in the realm of the Absolute. He narrated to them a vision he had had regarding the disciples' spiritual heritage. Absorbed, one day in Samadhi, Ramakrishna had found that his mind was soaring high, going beyond the physical universe of the sun, moon, and stars, and passing into the subtle region of ideas. As it continued to ascend, the forms of gods and goddesses were left behind, and it crossed the luminous barrier separating the phenomenal universe from the Absolute, entering finally the transcendental realm. There Ramakrishna saw 7 venerable sages absorbed in meditation. These, he thought, must have surpassed even the gods and goddesses in wisdom and holiness. And as he was admiring their unique spirituality, he saw a portion of the undifferentiated Absolute become congealed, as it were, and take the form of a divine child. Gently clasping the neck of one of the sages with his soft arms, the child whispered something in his ear, and at this magic touch the sage awoke from meditation. He fixed his half-open eyes upon the wondrous child, who said in great joy, "I am going down to earth. Won't you come with me?" With a benign look, the sage expressed assent and returned into deep spiritual ecstasy. Ramakrishna was amazed to observe that a tiny portion of the sage, however, descended to earth, taking the form of light, which struck the house in Calcutta where Narendra's family lived. And when he saw Narendra for the first time, he at once recognized him as the incarnation of the sage. He also admitted that the divine child who brought about the descent of the rishi was none other than himself. As we continue to explore the incredible journey of Swami Vivekananda, our next episode will bring you closer to the heart of his transformation, his evolving relationship with his spiritual master, Sri Ramakrishna. What happens when a rationalist meets a mystic? How does one young man's skepticism turn into unwavering faith? Join us in the next episode as we uncover the challenges, doubts, and triumphs of this extraordinary bond that would shape the course of spiritual history. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.